There are so many different paths that you can take when you start an online business, and there's no one linear path. Like everyone starts an online business for a different reason. And I'm going to be chatting with Annemarie today. Annemarie and I have both been in online business for about the same amount of time, and I love her story because her path is a little different. So when she started her business 5 years ago, she has been like, her growth personally has been so amazing, and I am super pumped to bring her out and interview her today and like let you hear all about her fantastic story. So let me go ahead and bring her on. She is in the process of joining. So yes, super pumped. We used to actually live in the same area, in the same town. Looks like she's on now. Hello. Hi, Annemarie.
Hello.
You.
You can hear me good?
I can hear you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes. Awesome.
So I was just prefacing and just telling a little bit about you and your background and talking about how we've been in online business for about the same amount of time. And I think it's really cool that there are so many different paths that you can take when you start something online, and not all paths are linear. Like not everybody is going after the same things. And so I'm super excited for you to come out and share your story today because it's so inspiring. And like some people, like I think, have this block about business to be like, I don't want to be this all in businessy entrepreneur like you typically see. And a lot of people don't realize you can be soul led in this type of business. Like you can start it as a means to an end or a vehicle to get where you're going, and then let it take you places that you can never have imagined. So I'm super excited for you to tell your story and kind of like where you are now. Like I think it's really cool. So this is Annemarie, everybody. And yeah, Annemarie, let's talk about you. Like, where were you 5 years ago, or almost 6 years ago now, before you started your business? Like, where were you? What made you decide to start an online business? And like, what's your path kind of look like?
Yeah, so crazy. Well, thank you for having me, and I'm excited. My path has been a journey for sure. So when I started 5, 6 years ago, I was a bar manager, bartending like 5, 6 days a week. And I had like graduated college, done a lot of the things that I kind of like thought I was supposed to do. And it really just wasn't fulfilling. Like even when I graduated, I was like, this isn't what I want to do. Like I don't want to have these set hours. So I love traveling. That's one of the things that like we connected on. We both love traveling. And so I really started because I had a love of, for one, traveling and freedom. And then I also had a love of like helping people, and helping people just because I was trying to help myself, really. It was an interesting thing. Like when you start a business, I didn't realize how much, excuse my dogs. I didn't realize how much it was going to be like helping myself. I heard a quote today that was like, I thought that my business is or my business was about spirituality, but really like your business kind of allowed spirituality to grow more. For me, that was like so true. And I like completely butchered the quote, but basically that was so true for me because I had like a very traditional background growing up, and I was trying to find my way and really just find like my people and how I fit into the world. And it's crazy that a like water filter business got me into that, and I didn't ever think it would be this path, right? But it's been so cool, and to really look back now and to watch like my growth of like, this is my first live in a while, but I'm excited and excited to, hop back into this world because I've gone into a cocoon. And like I said, it kind of like brought my spiritual journey out because it was like, oh, okay, having a business means your self-worth is going to be like tested, you know, your everything, like what you believe about yourself, like your different beliefs, your mindset, where you're energetically at. And so like for me, I had never made $5,000 before I started this business in a month, like in anything. Like maybe if I got like a tax refund check, you know, it'd be like, oh yay, like I've made whatever. And so for some people, you know, when they start a business, you watch people, they grow really fast, right? Because probably energetically, like they've made that kind of money before. So they're able to kind of do that and be able to like see that worth within themselves. And I didn't really have that. That doesn't mean that I wasn't successful. It doesn't mean you can't be successful without that. But it allowed me to grow into that and to grow into the type of person that can hold more money, that can hold more energy, that can hold more space. And like that came from just starting a business, which is crazy. Like, you know, clicking one link and just being like, hey, I want to know more because I know there's more out there and I don't know what that looks like. Melly, can mommy do this, please? Thank you. And I didn't know what that looked like. At the time, all I wanted was to have my own house, like my own space, and to be able to like hang out with my dogs all day and to wake up when I wanted. And I've literally manifested that for myself. It's a completely different view of what I thought it was going to look like at the time, because I was in a relationship engagement, like with a person, all that ended. Like it was just completely different than what I thought it was going to look like, but it's so much more aligned with who I truly am and the path I'm meant to lead. And it's allowed me to start other businesses like my human design chart readings, and it's allowed me to do social media for other people and be in the background because I have the knowledge that I gained from this business, from learning the marketing, from learning ads and doing these skills that are really valuable and like invaluable to, especially today. And these are skills I learned years ago, but they are obviously still important and they still matter. And yes, you can hone them, but they've allowed me to take it into different avenues in my life, different businesses, and things that are more aligned with me. Like, yes, you can still find it on my page. Like, you can still, you know, join my Enagic Kangen team, but that's not my forefront. You know, I am leading with more of.
Uh-oh, I think your audio cut out. There you go. You're back.
So like Abby had said before, like I'm just kind of leading more with my soul and with my heart. And when I first started, I was very much in that like kind of masculine energy, didn't really know. I was just like, push, 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 let's go. But I was excited. It's that excited energy when you start a business. And it's a really cool energy to be in, but it led me into my spiritual journey, which led me into a super aligned business that I love. And when I am prepping for these calls, when I'm prepping for, you know, different stuff within that like container, I am so excited. And I know that that's where I'm supposed to be. And again, it's all because I just like started something new. I started something different because I knew there was more out there. And there's still so much more to come, and I'm so excited for that. So I guess that's a kind of a little bit of a long drawn out version of, yep, here's where I started, where I am kind of thing.
No,
so
I love that. And knowing, like, having started around the same time that Annemarie did, I got to see Annemarie, like, when she started and, like, where she is now. And I can tell you, like, just seeing you from then to now, like you're a completely different person. Like you present differently, you carry yourself differently, you speak differently, you have so much more confidence than you did like at the beginning. Like I remember you used to have like anxiety around people, and like you had anxiety around traveling, and like even though you like to travel, I think there was anxiety that came with that for you. And like she spent 30 hours and met me in Peru this past year, like this past October, like trekked it out to Peru to meet me for an ayahuasca retreat. And like that's a fearlessness that most people don't have. But I don't know that you had it 5 years ago. You did. You just didn't know, you hadn't tapped
Right.
into it
I
yet.
haven't tapped
But
into
like,
it
but
at all.
it's so cool because when you take those little steps outside of your comfort zone, like to do something, to learn something you've never done before, it doesn't have to be massive steps, because like to get on a plane and like 5 different plane rides for 30 hours, that would be way too much to be your first step. But it took small steps to getting you to those bigger steps. But it's like when you take that one step to learn more about online business, and then you like learn about it, and then it's like, wow, this actually does resonate with me, and like I kind of want to learn a little bit more, I could possibly see myself doing this. And you take that next step, and then you're like, okay, I'm actually going to do this, I'm going to invest in myself, I'm going to take a chance on myself. It's scary, but if I don't do anything, I'm not going anywhere. And then you take that next step, and then it's like every time you take a step, your next step is presented, and it doesn't feel as scary. And so by the time you go from taking these tiny baby steps, then you go to these massive steps, it doesn't feel that massive anymore. And it's so cool because like when you're in it, I think it's harder to see how far you've come or how much you've grown. But as somebody on the outside looking in, it's really cool to see that and to see like that transformation that's been made, and like have you just really step in and embody like your human design. And like I remember she told me about her human design, and she was like, yeah, it takes me 28 days to make a decision. Like, do what now? She's like, yep, my lunar cycle is 28 days, so I'm not really supposed to be making any major decisions for 28 days. And like, but that makes so much sense knowing you and knowing how you are. And it's like just watching you become so aligned to who you are and just being so comfortable with that. That's really cool. And like you said, like that a magic business, that first business you started was like a branching off point to becoming a social media manager for other brands and people, like other companies and businesses, like to starting your own human design coaching business. Like it all started because you started with one small leap of faith, and you just knew where you were wasn't doing it for you. So you're like, all right, I got to try something different. And like it just has progressed into something so beautiful, and I just love that so much.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome to hear that reflection. So thank you for that.
of course. What would you say has been like, I guess I know it wasn't exactly what you expected coming into it, but like, what was your favorite part? Like, what was the thing that you were like, this was the thing that really helped me grow the most?
That helped me grow the most in like business, personal, both, like
Whatever that looks like to you.
I guess whatever helped me grow the most. Honestly, I guess it sounds kind of weird not being as successful in Enagic as I thought I was going to be. It didn't just take off for me, and I pushed very hard, and like I was like, oh, is something wrong with me? And then it was like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. Like it works. Like the strategy works. If you implement it, it works. But like I said kind of before, the energy wasn't there for me. Like my energy going in, I won't say it was like tainted, but it was kind of like tainted. Like it was just a different energy. And so I feel like that, and then allowing myself, well, not really allowing myself, just kind of like forcing myself to take a step back and being like, okay, why is this not working? Like what is going on within me? Like, how is this working for me? Like there must be something, like there's some way that I can still have a business, do the business I want, and it doesn't have to look like everyone else. And I think that's something that has been a really cool, I guess, mindset shift that I've had within the last like 6 months. Like it's so pretty like fresh, but it's a really cool one to just be like, I can do business my way, and it didn't work out because I needed that personal development. I needed that time within. I needed that, like, I needed to learn how to energetically hold a lot of money and hold success and hold, I guess, all these different ranges of emotions that come with being a business owner and being an entrepreneur and putting yourself out on social media. Like I had to learn to unlearn a lot of things. And so it was really that breakdown of like, this isn't going how I want, so let's revisit, let's see what I do want and what does light me up, and then going from there. And so yeah, that was kind of the biggest point of like, all right, I've spent a good amount of years doing this, something is not clicking here, let's like kind of go back and figure out what that is. So
Yeah, that's a huge like lesson learned, and for me too. And I would see spurts and massive success in my business, and then there would be times that I'd be like, what's going on? Like there's something blocking. And every single time it was always within me. And it's so easy for us to point to external things as to why we're not seeing the success that we want. But if we actually really take a step back and reflect, every time that there's blocks, anytime that we're not seeing success or we're not seeing things work out the way we want, it's always an internal block that's happening. And it's like, that's one thing that's been so powerful for me in like this business over the last 5 years is I have learned so much about myself and like realized like there were so many limiting beliefs, so many blocks, so many things that were not lining up with like my human design. Now that I know how I'm designed and wired to be, it's like it just gives you permission to like flow within the way that you want to flow. And so I would just say, like, if anybody's watching, whether you're in this type of business or any point in your life that you're feeling blocked or challenged or unfulfilled or just things aren't going the way that you want them to, stop pointing to external factors. Like that's an easy victim way out. That's that victim mentality. But takes like some radical accountability for where you're at and like look inside yourself, because that's where the blocks are coming from. Our external world is just a manifestation of what's happening on the inside of us. And so I think that's such a powerful way to look at it. And I'm so happy that you were able to say, wow, I'm not seeing the success I want to see because I don't truly believe that that's the type of success that I can have, or that's the type of money that I can be making, because you had not internally accepted that that's what you were worthy and deserving of. Mm-hmm. And so having to work through that, now that you have, like, you hold space for way more than $5,000 a month. Like you're opening yourself up to receive more than that. And so that's what will flow in when you believe you're ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's been a really cool transformation to just watch it learn to flow and learn to balance that masculine and feminine energy and try to not sit too long in each one.
Yeah.
Because I used to very easily kind of chill way too long in either one. But yeah, balancing that out.
Guilty. Sometimes I just get in my feminine energy and I'm like, I'll just stay here forever.
Right. Bliss. Okay.
Like, oh, I guess I do need to implement some structure here, huh?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, what advice would you give to someone who has been thinking about making changes, considering taking some path to, like, say, online business? They've been looking at, moving into the affiliate marketing space, but just not sure. Like, there's something holding them back. Like, what advice would you give?
I guess based on everything I kind of just said, to back that up, is kind of go within, like, what is holding you back? Like asking yourself those like lofty questions, like, why am I, because for me it was self-sabotaging. Like, so why am I self-sabotaging? And it was that like fear of being seen, that fear of judgment. And it comes back to like, you're going to be judged anyway. So live your life, and asking yourself, like, what's the worst that can happen to, like, you learn some new skills, like jump in. And it is scary, but if it's in your gut, like check that, like, where is it? Like, are you like freaking out up here? Are you freaking out? Like, where are you freaking out at? And if it's like more of an ego thing of just like, oh, people are going to see me, people are going to judge me, people are going to do this, again, they're going to do it anyway. And so starting something, learning a skill, you never know where that skill is going to take you. You never know where that skill can just ripple effect in your life and then in other people's lives. Because whenever you learn a skill or whenever you work on yourself, whenever you take a chance on yourself, a risk on yourself, you're showing other people around you that it's possible, and that like it is possible to believe in yourself, even if you have this crappy past that other people would be like, who does she think she is? Like trying to talk about this, trying to talk about that. Like believing in yourself, taking that risk on yourself, there's going to be someone that you are going to help, and you are going to like ripple effect into their life. And so just taking that one little toe and sticking it in the water, you know, to create that ripple. And that one little toe can just be checking something out, just checking out the nudge. Like even again, if it's not this business, if it's a different business, check that nudge. And if you're afraid, just ask yourself, why am I afraid? Why not jump? Let's just do it. Let's stick our toe in. So that would be my advice.
I love it. And I was actually listening to a podcast earlier that said fear is just a tool, or is here to help us identify what we are here to actually do. So when we're fearful of something, that's usually something, a lesson or something that we're brought into this lifetime to overcome. And so when you check your fears and when you say, okay, I'm actually really afraid of this, that's actually probably something that you're here, and a lesson that you're here to overcome and to learn more about. So I think that's really cool. So instead of looking at fear as a bad thing, looking at it as a way to say, wow, okay, that's where I'm supposed to be. Instead of shying away from what you're afraid of, tackling it full front, because it's just here to guide you. It's just a guide to say, this is actually where you're supposed to be going. If you're afraid of it, do more of it. Because the more that we're fearful of things, the more we're limited in life. The more that we move past fear and move past those blocks, the more life becomes expansive and open to us. So I would say follow your fear. Where is it leading you? And instead of running from it, dive into it head first, because that will only bring your life so much more expansiveness. But if you draw back, you shrink yourself. You shrink yourself back. And that's not any way to live. So I love that. Yeah. All right. Last question. So where are you going next, Annemarie? What's next for you?
Travel-wise, I don't know. I know I'm going to Mexico next year, February of next year. That's my next right now, but I'm sure something's going to happen between now and then. But I'm pretty stoked to go to Mexico. It's actually with for a girl's wedding I met through this business, and she's literally one of my best friends. Like, it's crazy too how you can just meet, like I said, just taking a step, taking that little leap of faith or a big leap of faith can really turn your life into amazing things and allow you to meet amazing people. Like I got to meet Abby and travel with her like we talked about, and yeah, I'm excited. So
amazing. And I will tell you, I got a human design reading done with Annemarie 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. Like if you ever want to learn more about yourself, you need to have your human design read. And I know she is open for bookings, so contact her if you want to get your human design read. If you want to feel more seen, more heard than ever before, and feel so validated in who you are, like I highly encourage every single person to get your human design read, because it is one of the most powerful tools that I have experienced over the last 2 years. And it's just wow. Like it just gives you permission to be exactly who you are. And there's not a lot of things out there that make you feel free enough and okay enough to be exactly who you are. So she's amazing. Reach out to her and she will give you a reading, and you can book through her and she'll send you all of her dates. So yay. Well, thank you so much for taking time and doing a little chat with me. It's always amazing to catch up with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for having me. It was fun. It's a good chat.
Well,
exciting to talk about the journey.
Yes, love you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, love you.